little by little, we are almost out of here. So we just have to tighten our seatbelt and then continue with whatever we've been doing all the time, and we'll be fine. I'm not sure before we can start today's topic. Anybody have a question or something bothering somebody? Any question? There's no question, right?
I have a
Good.
question, Professor.
All right. Thank you so much, Nora. So, yeah, you have yeah, go ahead.
Actually, I was wondering, is there any plan for the date of the final exam? Because, of course, we need to coordinate between economics and the other classes, so there won't be any overlap with the final exam timings. So, is there any plan for the timing or the day?
Good question. Good question. But I'm not sure if you do know when you're gonna have your other classes, when you're gonna have your test or the exam. I'm not sure about that. But our exam is going to be in the week of 30th of August. Let me see. It's gonna be in the week of 30th of August.
We have already one course have been the timing has been justified, and it is at the 22nd of August for this month. And
Okay.
yes.
If we are all okay and fine with it, we can push this to 29th of August, which is a Monday. 29th. If everybody is fine. So by the end of the class, we will throw it out again to the entire class. If we're okay with it, it's going to be on 29th of August. If somebody have any issue that it's not going to be possible, then we can bring it into the weekend. But if we want to bring it into the weekend, it's not gonna have any impact on whatever we do. So it's up to the class. So let's see how many people will be on board today. And then at the end of the class, we'll be able to go back and revisit that, and then we can decide on that.
Thank you, Professor. And how many chapters do we have to cover for the final?
I will let you know.
Okay.
We'll let you know. I'm not going to have you do almost everything, but some of the important topics of the first half of the semester that we covered in our mid-sem is going to be part of the last half of the semester that we are still treating. I hope you got what I'm saying.
Yes, Professor. Thank you.
All right, good. So 29 August is approved. If anybody have issue, we want to push into weekend, we will do that. By the end of the class, we'll be able to know that. All right. Thank you, Noran. That was a good idea. Now we know what we're going to do. And again, I'm going to be as flexible as I can. I just don't want people, as you know, we are in a global world. Somebody might be somewhere that it might be evening, somebody might be somewhere it might be morning, somebody might be somewhere it might be afternoon. So what we might probably be able to do is we might have to maybe probably give time limit, maybe about 6 to 10 hours period that anybody can go in and take the test. All right. So I believe that is fine with you. There is not going to be a set time for it to just expire within that short period, but at least half a day, people should be able to get it taken and then be able to move on.
Great idea, Professor, actually.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. So let's see if there is no question, we can move on to this topic. Question. Good. Let me bring this up quickly. Let's see what we can do. Today we're going to be dealing with perfect competition, another type of market that we'll be treating this morning. So that is perfect competition. I'm not sure it's taking its own time to come up. So when it comes up, we'll be able to. Good. There we go. So that's what we have today. Perfect competition, and again, those who have some slight economics background might know something about what this topic is about. But again, it's for all of us to go through and then gain the knowledge together. Like I say all the time, just feel free, be very open. If you're having a challenge, just bring it up. We will be able to help you. That is why we are here, and that's why it's a class. That's why you've paid for tuition. So just be very open. Feel free. If there is any issue, just let me know, and I'll be able to assist you. Good. So with this topic, by the end of the day, we're expecting that we should know the characteristics of what a perfect competitive market is. We should be able to know that, show how the demand for an individual firms will also affect individuals' firms' output is determined by the market's equilibrium price. We should also be able to predict how effectively competitive firm will respond to changes in a market price or market prices. Use the module of the perfectly competitive firm to determine short-run economic and normal profits, the impact and how it affects period. Use the model of the perfectly competitive firm to determine when a firm will shut down or operate at a loss in the short run. Again, we should also be able to determine the shape of a perfectly competitive firm's short-run supply curve using the marginal cost curve. Finally, we'll be able to derive the long-run market supply curve in a perfectly competitive industry under the conditions of a constant resource cost. Under the condition of a constant resource cost, and that is what we are trying to achieve by the end of this section. Good. So let's see what we have. That's a perfect competition market, and I'm not sure. I just want to find out from you, when we say perfect competition market, I'm not sure if somebody have heard something about it through your readings. What do you know? What comes to mind? Perfect competition market. What does that ring any bell in your ears? Does that
no monopoly?
Yes.
No monopoly. Many suppliers.
Thank you, Awad. Normally, you end up seeing a lot of suppliers. Whenever there is a lot of suppliers and there is a lot of demand, or what we call consumers, there is something that comes to play. Whenever there is this number of suppliers involved in the market, something comes to play. Why are they different types of consumers trying to go for specific kinds of products? Why? Why is it so? We have a lot of competition. That's a lot of what do we call it? A lot of suppliers in the market. So why? Why would other people choose to go for other products? Why? Anybody?
Professor, I think it's because of the price and the quality of the product.
Pricing and quality of the product. Thank you. Because of the pricing and quality of the product. Good. See, there are a lot of reasons that gets to be the background of the question that I'm asking. You know, yes, pricing and quality is part of it. That is true. So in our discussion throughout the week, I don't know those who have not done it, I'm going to discuss for you to get more clues as to how to do it, because it's something that you need to think out of the box, because at the end of the day, that's what this class is for. You know, when it comes to that level, I have my reason for trying to patronize a specific product. You might have your reason. Your reason might be the price is so cheap that I'll be able to purchase or afford to buy. Somebody might think about the quality. Yes, somebody might also think about the availability or the nearness, or in terms of nearness, how close it is for him to be able to buy that product. Okay, somebody might also think about maybe maybe the kind of packaging, the smell of the product alone gives him or her that kind of preference to go for it. Okay, and it cuts across individual preference. Okay, so at the end of the day, one thing that this market can assure you is, if you do not stay put, if you do not compete well, if you do not structure yourself well, you cannot be in this market. Why? At the end of the day, you will lose the shares you're supposed to enjoy. Okay? You need to structure yourself well to be in a competitive market, because everybody in that market is trying to compete for the same market share that you are competing for. Assuming it is 100% and you are 10 suppliers in the market, guess what? Those consumers out there, you are selling to them. You are competing for those number of sellers out there, consumers out there, to patronize your product. So something extraordinary must be done in the market. So if you end up just being a JoJo guy in the market, you will never be able to do what? Compete in a market like this. As a result, you need professionals who can think out of the box, okay, to be able to strategize, to take advantage of the market. That's our topic that we're discussing. So as a professional, if you cannot do that, all right, then your organization cannot pay you or continue to pay you, because they will be losing out in the market. There are so many things you do to be able to strategize in a market as a businessman. And in this type of market, it is more than necessary for you to do that, because if you don't do it, you are dying, because others are taking your market share. So those are the topics we're going to be treating, which you can see up there. Those are the topics that we're going to be treating. So at the end of the day, let's see what we have. Characteristics of perfect competition. Characteristics, which means what are their identities? If they say somebody is somebody is a medical doctor, what shows? If somebody is a pilot, what are the characteristics of that person? What are the characteristics of a graduate or an MBA graduate? How do you distinguish yourself from the others? How do you identify an MBA graduate? How do you do that? Okay, and these are the characteristics of what a perfect competition market is. You will find out that there's a large number of what? Sellers. That is large number of sellers in that market. This alone tells you that this is what is a perfect competition, or it's a perfectly competitive market. Okay, you also see that there is a standardized product. Okay, those products that they are selling is of standard to each other, standardized product. Okay, at the end of the day, in the eyes of customers, they might see it to be the same, but they are not the same, but they are all of the same standard. They are similar. It's just like me going from one gas station to the other to purchase gas. Those gas that I do purchase from one place to the other might not be the same, but they are all gas. At the end of the day, this type of market, you should also think about the price takers. Means we are not just going to sit somewhere as say we are organization, we are group, we are union, and then we try to we try to do what? Inflate the price, or we try to find a way to gag the market. Okay, this is not how this type of market works. This type of market, that's what it works with the forces of demand and supply. Okay, so price takers, they accept the price. So price takers, these are the type of characteristics that you see for perfect competitive market. And again, there is what we term as easy entry and exit. Unlike some other markets, there are so many what we call it, entry blocks, or there are so many barricades that you will not be able to go into the market if there are no rules and regulations banning certain type of people from entering the organization. There might be some sort of registrations that one who might be a small supplier cannot afford, you know. So there is no that kind of restrictions in this type of market. It is very open that everybody can enter and exit, provided you have what? The ability to produce those kind of what we call it, products. Okay, that is what we term as perfectly competitive market. Perfectly competitive market. Good. Now, as I was talking about price takers, who are they? Okay, by definition, firms take or accept the market price and have no ability to influence that price. Like I said, they cannot just sit somewhere and say, oh, we are a team of 5 and all of us produce this product, so we're going to find a way to do what? Control the price. We don't do that in a perfectly competitive market. Okay, somebody might come from China, somebody might come from India, somebody might come from Asia, different places. Okay, and listen, they all have a different types of thinking in terms of marketing, the way they want to deal with business. All right, they come with different goals. Somebody might think like, hey, I'm just producing this thing for $1. If I sell it for $1.20, I'm okay. Somebody might from a different country, from a different place, might decide to sell it for, hey, I'm only producing this for $1. If I sell it for $1.50, I'll be fine. It will depend on these people, and normally those people with different backgrounds in a market causes that kind of free flow, because they cannot understand each other in terms of language, or they do not have the same background that they will be able to just sit down and then try to control the price, or they will form some sort of association to be able to control the price. So they are price takers. If we talk about competitive market, they are price takers. They just accept the price that is being controlled, that is being given out in the market. Again, from the top, from the question we do have, it says, which of the following statement does not describe a perfectly competitive market? From the letter that we have just said, I don't know what you do understand about this one here. It says a large number of firms are involved. I think I heard something about that because Mr. Awad just gave us that information that yes, it's a characteristics of what? Of competitive, perfect competitive market. Okay, so large number of what? Firms or suppliers are involved. So, and they tend to say that it's the entry and exit are what? Relatively easy. Okay, good. I think I heard that, but for the, I'm not sure if somebody can be able to distinguish the third one and the fourth one for me. In the short run, firms can earn profit, minimize losses, or earn a normal profit. What is the answer here? Somebody was telling me that it is D, but I think it's not D. But if somebody will be able to justify that, I'll be very happy. Who is telling us what it is? Anybody? Anybody?
Some for me is letter C.
It is C. Okay. Thank you, Jodlin. Anybody with a different answer? I got one person who has accepted my answer. So we are two now. Let's see if we will be able to take the day. Anybody?
I would go with the D, Professor.
You go with
Yes,
the D.
for me. Yes. B.
Okay, now it is 2-2, so nobody have won. Anybody confirming the answer for us? Anybody there? Anybody there? Okay, so at the end of the day, the price is greater than marginal revenue. This cannot fit as a characteristics of what? Of perfectly competitive market. Okay, there is no way the price is going to be what? Greater than the marginal revenue, because these people are what? Price takers. So at the end of the day, we're going to have the answer to be the D, like Douglas or dog. All right. So that is it. The D people won. So we lost. So that's fine, but we're gonna get you along the line. So now let's move on. We have what we term as the firm demand and the equilibrium for the market. Okay, to be able to understand how each firm behaves in a perfectly competitive market, the key assumption, okay, the key assumption of being a price taker will play a central role, very, very important role. So if you do not get anything moving forward, please let me know, because at the end of the day, that is what we're going to base on. It's gonna really play a key role, or a very prudent role in terms of perfect competitive market. Good. So now, when we say marginal revenue, what does that mean? What does that mean? The change in a firm's total revenue that results from a 1 unit change in output produced and sold. That's what we term as what? A marginal revenue. Don't forget, whenever we say marginal, we understand what it is. So this is as simple as you can think about. It's another key concept to understand how each firm is impacted by the market condition in a setting of perfect competition. Okay, so that is marginal revenue, the change in a firm's total revenue that results from a 1 unit change in output produced and sold. That is marginal revenue. Marginal revenue. Just alert me at any point in time if you have any challenges as whether you understand or not. So entire market for is seen right there. Now, I'm not sure if anybody is having a challenge as at now with this slide you have in front of you. Okay, this graph, we should be able to tell what it's telling us. Okay, anybody in this class should be able to know that, hey, this is what, this is an equilibrium point here, and this equilibrium point is telling us that this is the price and this is the the quantity at which the equilibrium price and quantity is able to come together, or we locate that point. So this is what we say equilibrium point. That is where the red, which is the supply, and then the D, which is the demand, which is in blue, where they meet is the equilibrium point. And at that equilibrium point, it came from the price, okay, as to what the consumers are paying for, and as to what the suppliers are doing what? Producing for that particular price. That is where that equilibrium point is. So over there, you will see that the quantity is what? 600, right? And the price is what? 45. Any challenge, please let me know. So the equilibrium price is what? 45, and the equilibrium quantity is going to be 600. Let's see what is next. Good. One firm's market for the product, because each firm is a price taker, right? Normally, the price change for individual firms will always be what? Around the demand, which is equivalent to the market revenue, okay? That's where you see the D is equal to the MR, okay? Because each individual firm in the market is a price taker, okay? The price change for each individual in the firm will always be at that price. That is where they tend to do what? Understand what the consumers want from them and what they also want to give the consumers. That is 45. So you will see that if the individual firm want to sell a quantity, for example, at say $1, okay, it can do so at what? A price of 45. Okay, this is just a straight line, as you could see. If the individual firm also want to increase from maybe a quantity of say 1 to 2, it can also do so and still sell at the price of 45. Okay, imagine revenue will be 45 as the total revenue has gone up by 45. Okay, the individual firms, their demand as price takers in a perfectly competitive market situation will be horizontal, as you can see. Okay, just as it is. Okay, in a perfect competitive market. Okay. Good. So average revenue, what does that mean? Average revenue, per definition, revenue per unit sold equal to total revenue divided by the quantity of output produced and sold. Okay, that is what we term as average revenue. We have met it before, just that we are turning its definition. All right, revenue per unit sold equal to total revenue divided by the quantity of output produced and sold. Okay, in a perfectly competitive situation, the average revenue will always be equivalent to the marginal revenue. Okay, it will always be equivalent to the marginal revenue in a perfect competitive situation. The average revenue will always be equivalent to what? The marginal revenue. Okay, so don't forget. Okay, don't forget, and that's what we do have. Okay, so we do have what? A challenge question over. We do have a challenge question. What would the shape of the average revenue curve be in this past example? What would the average revenue curve be in this past example? Again, don't forget, like I said, if the marginal revenue is always the same, the average will not change. Okay, the average will not change. So the marginal values will drive the averages. The marginal values will definitely drive the values. And that is what we are trying to put across. Okay, no matter what it is just a average revenue is just going to be equivalent to marginal revenue. All right, in this kind of market conditions that we find ourselves. I hope somebody understands what I'm saying. Good. So now, what do we have? Price is equivalent to marginal revenue, and marginal revenue is equivalent to average revenue in a perfectly competitive market. Okay, that is what we say, because at the end of the day, these people are what? Price takers, which means an individual seller's action do not impact the equilibrium price, no matter what it is. They come with what? Their own way of thinking. Probably just like me, I want my products to move as fast as I want. So if I come and you are selling yours as $2, and I just want to peg my price at $1.50, then I think it's going to move, fine. I'm just going to do that. Maybe my brand have some sort of market control over yours. So although if you bring yours to that level, say 150, you're still not going to be able to do what? Take advantage of me, because they know my brand. I have established my brand, and my brand is doing very well. Fine. If that is the issue, then you are in charge of the market. But I'm not going to say in charge in terms of you determine what price products to be sold. Okay? At the end of the day, you are controlling just a portion of the market share, which is those who prefer your products. Okay? So you cannot determine for the entire market that this is the price we're going to sell, other than the equilibrium price that the entire market is accepting, because of they being what? Price takers. Okay, so that is what we have. I'm not sure if anybody is having a challenge. Please let me know. If you're having a challenge you don't understand, let me know, so that I'll be able to go back again and then review with you. Good. There we go. We have another question. A perfectly competitive firm is what? Is what? It's a price maker. That's what I think, because I heard something like that. It's a price maker. Can anybody confirm this question for me? A perfectly competitive market is a price maker. True or false?
False.
False. Is that what we see in a perfectly competitive market?
It's not price maker, it's price taker.
Say that again.
It's not price maker, it's price taker.
Oh, okay. So who made that mistake and put the M over there? Oh, okay.
Someone
So
did.
yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe when Awad was typing, he took off the T and put an M just to confuse me. So I'm not sure. If it is not price maker, then who is gonna tell us what it is? Awad, don't talk. A perfectly competitive market is what?
The answer is A.
Oh, I forgot she's there. Yeah, I would have muted her too. So thank you, Rodas. The answer is A. So a perfectly competitive firm, okay, can sell as much output as it wants at the equilibrium price. Okay, that is what we have been hammering on since this morning. Okay, a perfectly competitive market. Nobody can gag them. Once they accept the price, what they can produce at that price is going to come in. All right, that is perfectly competitive market. So the answer is A. So whenever you see this question, please do justice to that. Thank you so much, Rodas. Thank you. Good. Let's keep moving. Why is this thing running so slow? Hey. Oh man, the slide doesn't want to move to the next one. Okay, there we go. It's taking its own time. All right. Price for a perfectly competitive seller equals to what? I think it's equal to total revenue. Can somebody confirm that? We just in here. Okay. Price for a perfect competitive market seller equals to what?
D.
The D. Okay. Who was that?
Me, Nuran.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much. So that is equivalent to what? The marginal revenue. Okay. The marginal revenue. Don't forget. All right. Don't forget. We just mentioned this some few minutes ago. So at the end of the day, that's what we do have, and it's gonna be as simple as we can think of. Now let's see what we can do in these operations in the short run. I have used this in the past. I tried to tackle it in a brief in the past when we were dealing with productions. So we should be able to understand this with no issues. Okay, in operations in the short run, how do suppliers and then producers behave? You put yourself in their shoes. That assuming you are a producer, okay, assuming you are a supplier in that kind of category, how would you operate? Do you think every now and then you can just do whatever you want to do and get out just like that? Or what do you think? That's what we're going to be thinking about. Okay, so how does a perfectly competitive firm respond to changes in market prices? Okay, how do they respond to changes in market prices? And that is what we have. It will make sense, okay, for a firm to do what? To keep producing until what? Can somebody say something? Until what? It will always make sense for a firm in a competitive market to keep producing until the cost of something is equivalent to something. We just said that. You know, no matter what it is, we are dealing with your marginal revenue. So once your marginal revenue is equivalent to the marginal cost, you're still gonna keep producing in that category of perfect competitive market. Okay, if your marginal revenue is equivalent to marginal cost, you are good. Don't forget, we are not dealing with accounting profit here. We are dealing with economic profit here. All right. I hope you do understand. In the past, Nora asked me a question. I believe it's Nora, that what would you do in a situation like this if you are a producer, or if you are what do we call it, a seller or something like that? Can you just get out? Yes. Depending on what situation you find yourself, you cannot just get out in that short run, but you will be able to at least keep producing based on what you find yourself. Again, if your marginal revenue is equivalent to your marginal cost. Don't forget, in this time, or at this particular point in time in the short run, probably you are renting the facility. Okay, and don't forget, maybe you have paid for 10 years, so your facility tends to be what? A fixed cost. So if you leave production, what are you doing? Are you losing out because you have already paid in advance? So if you leave production, if you start production, what happens? Does it affect you in the long run? So what would you do? Would you adjust yourself to be able to produce while your marginal revenue is equivalent to your marginal cost? Yes, that's how a businessman is supposed to think. There are so many other variable costs and so many fixed costs that in the short run, as a businessman, it's difficult for you to run away. Unless maybe you want to see me by the side and you tell me that, hey, all this equipment in my facility, give me $20 and then take them so that I can run away from the business. Yes, but in the short run, businesses find themselves in somehow a tight corner. Okay, in somehow a tight corner, and they need to strategize to at least meet the demand, or be able to keep tight in that kind of period they find themselves until something better comes up. All right, so that is how they will behave in a price change at that particular point in time in the market. Good. So again, what happens in a perfect competitive market to individual firms when the overall market price change? Again, we can relate that to the price over here. Okay, the normal market condition is what we see over here. Okay, that is the equilibrium price you see over here. When there is a change, they have to adjust themselves. And again, depending on what they find themselves, depending on the kind of variable cost, depending on the kind of fixed cost they have in the business, will help them to determine whether, hey, we are producing at maybe 98 capacity, or we are producing at maybe 90% capacity. Let's cut it to maybe 60% capacity to be able to reduce our cost, to be able to at least mitigate the cost that we find ourselves at the meantime. All right. So if they do that, and their cost, which is the marginal, is equivalent to the marginal revenue coming in, they are good. They keep producing at that cut percentage that meets their what do we call it, production capacity. I hope somebody is following. Good.
Professor, I have a question.
Sure, let's go.
Yes, at slide 18, please.
Slide 18.
Yes.
Slide 18. Yeah. Good. How does a perfectly competitive firm respond to changes in price? Yep. Yeah, that's your question again.
My question is why the profile of the curve for marginal cost is behaving like that?
Say that again.
The behavior of the marginal cost, why the curve shape looks like that, or why the marginal cost behave in this way?
why the marginal revenue behaves in this
Not
way.
the marginal revenue, the marginal cost, the curve, which is
The curve.
yes, like a parabola, the one written in
Yeah,
marginal
that is
cost.
it comes and then rise again, right?
Yes.
Good. That's what I'm trying to explain to you earlier on, that these people are price takers. Okay. With this time, guess what? What should I use? For example, you are a nose mask producer, okay? And all of a sudden, your price for that product, okay, was being sold at $1. And then COVID hit, okay? COVID hit, you are producing 100 pieces a day. What would you do? You will be forced to produce more because COVID hit. Now, people are demanding for that kind of product. This is going to cause your production to increase. Your marginal cost is going to increase. So it's going to depend on the situation you find yourself. So you see that it's coming down, or it goes down and rise again. It's a marginal cost. It can increase at the same time it can go down. Don't forget. Okay, in a perfect competitive market, don't forget that they can lose. Okay, there are losses as well. So in a perfectly competitive market, this is what happens, and that's why you see the curve like that. I'm not sure if I made sense to you.
Here.
All right, if it's not, please just hit me at another point, question, or the same way in a different way. Probably I will understand you better. I'm not sure if you're okay. So that is where are we? I think is this where we are?
Yes.
Oh, this is where we were. Okay, good. Let me see. Somebody's testing. Typing, I mean. Good. So in a short run, a perfectly competitive market calculates the profit maximizing into bracket or loss minimizing production out by equating what? Oh, okay. Thank you, Winnie. Good. So that is what we have. That is what we have. So in the short run, a perfectly competitive firm calculates the profit maximizing into brackets or a loss maximizing production output by equating.
The answer is D.
The answer is D. Okay, good. So that is what we are dealing with right now. Okay, that is exactly what we are dealing with right now. Marginal revenue will be equivalent to what? Will be equivalent to marginal cost. Okay, good. So that is it. Let's see what we do have. So let's run into the short run economic and profit, normal profit, and see what we do have over there. So good. Determining short run economic and profits, normal profits for perfectly competitive firm. Okay, how we determine that? I know that economic profit is often what we term as the pure profit. If you have forgotten, or if somebody is not aware of that, it is the profit that receives, okay, after paying all opportunity costs of the production. Okay, that is economic profits. Okay, we have to know that this is different from accounting profits. Okay, in the firm, if the firm has zero economic profit. Okay, after paying all costs of production, it is earning what we term as what? Normal profit. After paying all opportunity production cost, what we term as normal profit is you making zero profit. Okay, don't forget, this is not accounting profit that we are dealing with. Okay, so with the ability to adjust, okay, in the short run, with the ability to adjust in the short run. So what we have over here, we see a marginal curve up there again, the average total revenue cost, average variable cost, the average total cost, and then the marginal revenue. Okay, we see that over there. And again, whenever you see the marginal cost equivalent to the marginal revenue, that is what we are trying to talk about in this particular situation. They will produce, they will do what? Produce, and they will make economic profit. Okay. So now the man himself came up and he said he's called what? Economic profit. The level of profit that occurs when total revenue is greater than what? Total cost. That is economic profit. Okay, total revenue is greater than the total cost. Okay, economic profit. So now, what if the price is lower than P? That is in relating to the first what do we call it? First graph, this one. Good. What if the price is lower than the P1? What would they do? They will still do what? What would they do? If the price is lower than P1, what would they do? Would they stop production?
They will continue production.
Good. Thank you, Awad. They will still continue production because they are making what type of profit? It is still right
Accounting
there.
profit.
Say that again.
Accounting profit.
Accounting profit.
They are still making profit, but it is not economic profit.
Good. All right. So that is what we are trying to put across. All right. So they are making profit. They are making profit. What is we are trying to talk about is when it's below P1. Okay. Where is it? Good. So let's move to the next one. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, good. Now, determining short-run economic and normal profit for a perfectly competitive market. Perfectly competitive market. In a short run, we do see the price at what? P, is it P2? Yes, P2, which is marginal revenue. And you have your marginal cost. Okay, you do have your marginal cost, you do have your marginal revenue. Okay, so the question here will be what if price is instead of P2 say it's less than P2, it's lower than P2, what would they do? Anybody? Price is lower than P2, what would they do?
Production.
Say that again.
They will stop production.
To stop production. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
In the short run? In the short run, any different answer? Price is less than P2. They will still continue to produce. They will still do what? The firm will continue to produce because at the end of the day, why? What is going to happen? Anybody there?
Could it be maybe they will lose profit?
I don't want to go there. I want to be sure if they will still continue to produce, because no matter what it is, they're going to lose a portion of their profit. But I want to know, would they continue to produce? Would they continue?
For me, yes.
Would they continue? Who was that?
It's me, Judilyn.
Oh, Judlin. Okay. Thank you. Would they still continue to produce? When they produce under P2, would it not be something lower than the marginal revenue? Somebody there? And in that context, the marginal revenue will be lower than the marginal cost. Is that not it? Are we there? Are we there?
Yes, we're here, Professor.
Good. So marginal revenue is going to be lesser than marginal cost. Will still would they still continue to produce?
They will produce, but no profit.
Okay. Anybody? Anybody?
I guess they should stop producing. It will not be worthy.
Okay, so we have two answers now. Who can justify that for us?
Why should I produce if I'm not making revenue from what I'm producing?
Yes, it's a question.
Maybe it's a short run, so they will still produce, I believe, because had it been in a long run, maybe by then they would close and stop producing.
Okay, so your point is they will not produce.
No, they should produce.
They will produce.
They will produce. I mean,
Good.
yeah, it depends.
Good. So this is what you have to know. At the end of the day, they will still produce. Okay? They will still produce. Don't forget, when we talk about economic, I said in economics, as we have, I'm not sure if it is last week or last 2 weeks, we did explain about the implicit cost and explicit cost. Okay, at the end of the day, you are dealing with these two in economics. You have to know that. So no matter what it is, they are not losing anything. Okay, so while there are no economic profit at P2, there is still what? Can somebody come in? While there is no economic profit at P2, there is some sort of profit over there. And what kind of profit is that?
Could it be accounting profits?
That's right. Thank you. So no matter what it is, they're going to produce at P2, because although there is the marginal cost is not equivalent to marginal revenue, they are losing out, but still, don't forget, they are making accounting profit. Somebody confused? Are we clear with that? That is economics for you. All right. So the day we're expecting the marginal cost to be equivalent to the marginal revenue. Don't forget, in the short run, you are in a tight situation. So if you're covering your implicit cost and your explicit cost, at the end of the day, what are you doing? Somebody will say you are breaking even. All right. So that is what we have for this question. So it is very interesting for you to be part of it. At the end of the day, it gets there and it tells you that, hey, I was part of this question. I was part of this debate, and I do understand what they are saying in this contest. Okay, so in a perfectly competitive industry, firms seek to maximize what? Somebody? In a perfectly competitive market, what do firms seek to do? They want to maximize what? Is somebody in the class? Rodas, don't talk. Noran, don't talk. Judlin, don't talk. Is Winnie here? Is Winnie here today? Winnie, I've not heard from you.
She's texting, Professor. She's writing messages through a chat box.
Oh, yes, I see that. Yes. She just responded. Yeah. So Winnie, can you give us your answer for this? In a perfectly competitive industry, firms seek to do what? They seek to maximize what? Is it the marginal profit? That's what I think. Unless somebody tells me I'm wrong, then you tell us the correct answer. But from where I sit, I think that's my answer. But with my own answer, I don't still believe it. So unless somebody confirm it for me. In a perfectly competitive industry, firms seek to do what? Maximize something. What is it? Their marginal, it's not going to make sense. They cannot maximize their marginal profit in the short run. I'm not sure if somebody is with me. It can only be what? The total profit. Okay? Today might be good, tomorrow might not be good. Okay? That is what we are dealing with. You are in a period that within some short period of time, you need to at least think out of the box to be able to do what? To make a change. Okay? That is competitive market for you. And if you are in this type of business, in this type of market, you should be smart. Okay? You should be smart in order to at least survive in that kind of market. Good. Let's see. Short-run economic losses and shutdown. Short-run economic losses and shutdown. At what point in time would they shut down? Let's see. At what point in time would they decide to shut down? Okay, determine when a perfectly competitive firm shut down or operate at a loss in the short run. Okay, so this is where this is what we were talking about earlier on. Okay, this is what we were talking about earlier on. Assuming this is what price is this? Can somebody see? Is it P2? Is the price P2?
Yes, yes, it's P.
P2, okay.
Yes.
It's P2, right? Good. So what if the price was lower than, say, somebody was talking?
It is P3.
Okay. Are you sure it's P3?
Yes.
I cannot see well though. I might have to try and get maybe glasses moving forward. This is not a joke.
I'm
though.
using that already.
So when you cross 40, you have a whole lot of stuff that you're gonna go through. Good. So assuming the price is lower than P3, what will happen? Would the firm make any sort of profit? What would they do? Any idea? Any idea? Would the firm make any sort of profit?
No,
Okay.
Professor.
Did I hear no?
Yes, I said no.
Oh, that's a big no. He gave it to me for the second time. And I don't like that. So I'm going to say yes. Will somebody be with me? Would they still produce? Would they still produce? Would they still produce? In a way that marginal revenue is equivalent to what? The marginal cost. Okay? Anyway, okay, they will still produce. They will still produce. Okay? They are maximizing their profits. That is the total profit. In the short run. Here, yes, they will still produce. Any challenger? No challenger. Okay.
Can I ask some question?
Yes, go ahead, Judlin.
Why do they still produce?
Yes, that's what we have to ask ourselves. Within that particular, okay, that they find themselves, okay, one, so many factors comes into play for them to make the decision to shut down. There are variable costs, there are some fixed costs that will influence their decision. So far as they are, at least, they are meeting that kind of profit, the total profit, or their equivalence is equivalent to what? The revenue that they are making, sorry, their cost is equivalent to the revenue, they will still produce, because within that period, if they come out, what they will lose is greater than what they are producing. I hope you are with me.
Got you.
Okay, so that is how it functions, and sometimes people make it look so crazy. Just get it like you are in a business and you have some sort of fixed cost and some sort of variable cost. You making decision as to come out is a very tough decision in the short run. It's a very tough one. Okay, so if you look at your pluses and your minus, and you feel like your pluses is going to be a little greater than your minus, then you go with what you're gonna have. Because if you bail out just like that, you're gonna face the repercussion very, very high. Okay, so determining what perfect competitive market or firm will shut down or operate at a loss. Again, I said this earlier on. Don't forget, they make losses. They still run at a loss. Okay? They will run at a loss than to close down because of the fixed cost and the variable cost that they cannot do anything about. They find themselves in a position where probably they have paid maybe the rent for 10 years. Fine. Guess what? They can change the lease into another maybe they can sublet the facilities to somebody. But ask yourself, how long would that take for them to get somebody to come and then sublet that facility? You see, it makes economics very, very interesting. How long? You have a facility so huge, okay? If I don't want to say maybe 800,000 square feet, who is going to need this facility? And what are they going to even do with that facility at that particular point in time that you find yourself so tight that you want somebody to come and pick up your burden? So somebody might need it, but it will take time. So the plans go into what? The long run. So in the short run, you might produce at a loss. That loss is better than shutting down. Is somebody following me? Is somebody following me? Any confusion here? Any confusion? No confusion. All right, good. So that is what it is. At the end of the day, you are better off.
Professor.
Hello?
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So as long as the price is above the average variable cost, okay, they will continue to produce even if there is a loss.
Oh, yes.
Am I right?
Yes. See, so far as they're creating enough to cover its variable costs, yes, they will produce.
Yes.
Are we there? They will stay in business. They're producing enough. They're creating enough revenue to be able to
Yes.
do what? Take care of a variable cost and some other fixed costs. They will stay in business. Are we there? Are we there? So at the end of the day, once they are unable to change any other cost or all costs, okay, then it comes to that door point that, hey, it is what it is. Enough is enough. So we're going to do what? We're going to get out of the what? Out of the business. So you see that any part below the, as Awad said, below the AVC, average variable cost, they're gonna get out. You're a businessman, you will get out. You cannot, because you cannot meet any other cost. You cannot produce to meet any other cost. Would you produce? Probably I'll be your friend, and then I'll come and buy on a commercial basis. So you produce for me, then I'll go and sell and make profit. So after taking time to deal with the market, after taking time to go through the market, that painful situation, if you're unable to even make enough to cover your variable cost, it means you cannot be in business. I hope it makes sense. It's very tricky, but I hope it makes sense. If it does not, please just feel free and I'll repeat myself. Are we here? Are we here?
Yes, we are.
Good. So that is what it is. Now we are at a point that if they cannot see anything coming from after the average variable cost, to cushion them for that. So anything below that, they will stop producing, they will shut down. And that is what it is. So what you have to put it in your mind is all about the variable cost. I hope we are clear with that. Once they are meeting that, they will stay in business. So that's what we have over here. That's what we have. So at the end of the day, we do have what if the price is even lower than the P3? That's what I explained to you. That's what I explained to you. They will be able to do what? If they are, let me go back to that slide. What slide is that? Where is this? What slide is that? Is that this one? Okay, so they will still stay for P3. They will still stay until it goes below the AVC. Okay, so let's go back. Good. So so what if it's also so if it is lower than P3, yes, they're still in business, right? They're still in business. So let's see. Now, what if it is lower than P4? Okay. What if it's lower than P4? Anybody there?
I think they will shut down.
They will shut down?
Yes.
How? Look at this graph very well, though. Look at the graph.
Marginal cost is equal marginal revenue, but it is a critical point. They have to take a decision of business continuation, I guess.
Very good. So that's what I was expecting from Rodas. You look at the marginal revenue, okay? It's a critical point. As Nolan just mentioned, they will stay in business. Okay? They will stay in business. Don't get confused here. You have to look at you don't only look at the marginal cost or the AVC. No. Okay? Just look at the because over here, let me see if I can go back to where is that one? What is this? This slide is 33, so probably maybe this slide. Do we see what is going on here? Do we see that? Okay. Have we seen where the ABC is? Who is that? Okay. Now let's go to what we are dealing with. Have you seen where the AC is? So you just don't have to look at just one thing. Your marginal revenue is equivalent to the marginal cost. Although in a critical position, as Noran said, he will still produce. The firm is still maximizing its produce or its production, where the marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue. And this is at quantity 4. Confusion starting in? There shouldn't be any confusion. Let's move on.
As I said before, even if the company is the price is lower, if we say until the average variable cost, the company is still producing, right? Because they are matching their variable cost.
Yes.
So now they are not matching their variable cost.
Have you seen that they are making more than enough to pay for their variable cost with this slide? Can you see that?
With this one, they're not like they are not matching their variable cost. They are still within the marginal cost.
That's right.
So so as long as they are in matching their marginal cost, they will keep producing.
Say that again.
Okay. So my question is,
Mhm.
okay, if they are still at some point met the price or their marginal revenue is equal to their marginal cost.
That is
They
the
will still
original.
continue to be in the business even if they
That
are
is
not.
the original. Yes,
even
that
if
is
they are
the
not-
original. Okay, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. I'm saying even if they are not matching their average variable cost, they will still
Marginal.
be in business.
Yes, marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue. You will still be in business. You will still be in business. Okay? They will still be in business. So at the end of the day, you see that they are in business, although they are not making that much. Okay? So this slide over here tells us more. Okay? See, you see the loss that they incurring. You see that. You see the loss they're incurring, but they are still producing.
Yes.
That is what you have to, that's why I want to draw your attention to. It's not only about the loss. In perfectly competitive market, it's not about only profit. They can make loss. And in situations like this, you find yourself in a very critical position where probably if you close or shut down, what you're going to lose is greater than what if you are to stay in business and produce, you will lose.
Yes, I understand that, Professor. But if the price, the P4, is lower than the average variable cost, are they supposed to operate then too? I mean, are they not supposed to shut down?
Yes. You see, that's what I'm saying. Although cost outweighs revenue. See, if you look at that vertical distance between the two for each unit sold up to Q4, cost outweighs, okay, the revenue. But within that particular time, what would you do? Think out of the box as a businessman with some sort of variable cost and then fixed cost to deal with. The loss is equivalent to Q4. Okay, so that distance between ATC and then the P4 is a loss. But guess what? They are better off. I know it doesn't make sense to you, but if you are in business, they are better off. Okay, they are better off. Nora, you want to say something?
Yes, actually.
Go ahead.
I fully understand the point that some companies stay in business because they want to make a business in market and take some projects to have installed base in, for example, even if they lose. But as there's a profit, but it is not censored like being in market and some stuff like that. I fully understand that, but still, I guess the CEO of the company will just sit and think for a while why I'm still producing if I'm losing for a long time. So I guess at the point where when my when the marginal revenues do not cover my expenses, I will think for a moment to shut down the business, if even if I'm gaining other benefits. But if it took a longer term than it should, so I should shut down.
That's right. That's right. You see, these things that we are discussing here is not set in stone. Okay. So again, practically, what you fix on the field, you need to think about it. You need to analyze it. Okay. Probably what you might face on the field is not just like what we are describing. So probably again, your situation might be better off closing at a point. But all that we are saying is, so far as these people are producing where they can produce enough revenue to cover the cost, which is marginal cost, they will produce. They will produce. So they will produce until a point where they feel like, hey, this production is not bringing enough revenue to compensate for the variable cost that we are going through. The business at that point will shut down. Is somebody following me? And
No, I got
Yes,
confused
yes,
again with this last sentence.
you
I
just
got
got
confused with the last sentence.
Yes, at a point that they cannot make enough at a variable cost, yes, they will shut down.
So this means,
Okay.
Professor, that they should have shut down since P3, when there was an intersection between the average variable cost and the marginal cost and the marginal revenue, which is P3.
Don't forget about what we are talking about. What is the difference between variable cost and average variable cost?
Okay. Okay.
Somebody here? Now you corrected yourself. Noran, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Do you get it?
Yes, I guess.
Oh no, I don't like the last part.
Yes.
So if they cannot make enough to cover the variable cost, yes, at that point they have to get out. The business will shut down. And don't forget, I don't want to say we are dealing with two different things. It's the same thing we are treating, okay? And practically on the field might be different. And you need to think out of the box to be able to do what? To at least give a fair decision to whatever you do. Okay? To whatever you do. Please let me know if you still have issues. I don't mind to keep talking and then talking till the next day. Okay? So that's what we have right here. So I don't know what we see over here. At the end of the day, anything which is going to be below P4, what do you think they will do? They will come out. Okay? They will come out of the business. Okay? They will come out. Because in the short run, the firm is not creating enough to cover both its fixed cost and its variable cost. They will come out. They will shut the business. You will do the same. Don't let the graph confuse you. What you have to understand is they are producing enough to cover their variable cost. Is marginal revenue equivalent to marginal cost? At a point, if they come all the way to the point that they cannot even produce enough to cover their variable cost, why would they be in business? Good. Let's see what we have next. So now that's what they want to tell us. So the shutdown point, the price below which a firm would choose not to operate in the short run. Numerically, this point occurs when the marginal revenue equals marginal cost at the minimum average cost. Graphically, this point occurs when the price or marginal revenue curve intersects the marginal revenue cost curve at the minimum point of the average variable curve, the cost curve. And that is the graph we just, this one, okay? This one. So at the end of the day, what we will go through to be able to shut down, you have to know that the price below which a firm will choose not to operate in the short run is at the point where marginal revenue equals to what? Marginal cost at the minimum average variable cost, at the minimum, okay? Graphically, this point is where the price or marginal revenue curve intersects with the marginal cost curve at the minimum point of the average variable cost. They cannot produce enough to cover the variable cost. So why produce? Any question? Determine when a perfectly competitive firm will shut down or operate at a loss. Okay, so any market price below P5, they will shut down. Okay, the firm will shut down. Okay, they shut down to its operation day to day. So don't forget, it doesn't meet any marginal revenue, marginal cost is at marginal variable is at its lowest, so it goes down below that. That's it. The average cost, sorry. So average variable cost, sorry. So they will shut down after P5, no matter what it is. We do have a question here. I'm not sure who is going to save us. After talking for so long, I want somebody to do the talking. Can somebody read the question for us? Anybody there? Can somebody read the question for us? Olia, are you there? Olia? Okay. Olia is not there.
I can read it, Professor.
Rodas, go ahead.
Okay. Assume the Unico Corporation is producing 40 units of output and selling the output in a perfectly competitive market for $5 per unit. Its total fixed costs are $110, and its average variable cost is $4 for each of the 40 units of output.
Thank you.
So Unico, should I answer it as well, or should I?
No, don't answer it. Somebody should do some work too. Don't answer it. Can somebody help us with the answer? Can somebody help us with the answer? Is Clement on here? Clement is not here. Okay. Anybody?
Professor, I guess the answer is C.
Who was that? Noreen?
Yes.
Okay. The answer is C. They earn a loss of $70. Can somebody confirm if it's C?
I would go with A.
Who is that?
Awad, yes.
Okay, you go with what?
A.
Okay, so stay put with your answer. Noreen, put it on paper for me.
The total costs are total fixed costs are 110, and the average variable costs are 4 by 40, so it will be $160. So even if I'm confused if I should add them together or no, but still, from my perspective, I had to add the fixed cost to the average variable costs, and that will result in a loss of 70 compared to the revenue he's making, which is 5 by 40 units. Equals $100.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so that's how you got your 70. Good. Mr. Awad, with your answer?
Well, in this case, no, I forgot to add the total fixed costs.
Thank you.
So I
So
would
you
go
redraw
still with C.
with a C. Thank you. Thank you. So at the end of the day, what Noreen did is she multiplied the 40 by $5 and gave her what? 200. Okay. You add up your what? What do we call it? That is 110, 110, and then 4 by 40 will give you what? 160. So 160 plus 110 will give us 270. Nora decided to take what? Whatever she made out of the 110 minus 270 minus the 200. Then she arrived at 70. Okay, that's what she did. So 40 by 5 is going to be 200, and then 40 by 4 will give us is it 160? 160. So 160 plus 110 is 270. So 270 minus 200 will give us 200. That is, and they earn a loss of $70. For those who have not taken the quiz, if you fail this one, anyway, I'm not gonna say anything. So let's move on. Thank you, Nora. Thank you, Awad. Thank you. So I just want everybody to understand what goes on here. We just don't want to just give them answers, and at the end of the day, they meet the question and they cannot do anything to it. Okay? So please, let's try to help ourselves. And this is what I try to do. I try to tie more questions, more points to the answer. And going forward, that's what I'll do. The calculations, I'll tie more points to those calculations. People have to learn how to calculate. You got to be involved in what we do. You come onto the platform, just be involved. If you don't understand, ask questions, because I don't want people to come here just listen and go without getting anything. At the end of the day, I want us to treat this like we are in a classroom setting, a modern classroom setting, where you understand what the instructor is telling you, and you put the instructor questions where you don't understand, and I should be able to help you. So not being able to do justice to this question or calculation questions moving forward, you're gonna get hit a lot of points. So in the short run, okay, in the short run, if ATC, which is the average total cost, is greater than price at the output level, where marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue, then what is going on? The average total cost, so so hard in here. The average total cost is greater than price at the output level, okay, where marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue. What is going on here? Anybody? Anybody? Wow.
I
So
think
nobody
C
and
is
what's
the
going
answer.
on? Rodas,
C is the
yes, that's
answer.
fine. Say that again.
C is the answer.
C is the answer. That's the firm was shut down. Okay. Okay. That's the firm was shut down. Where the average total cost is greater than price at the level, at the output level, where marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue. Would they shut down? Would they shut down?
Can you repeat it?
The average total cost is greater than price. We know that. Okay, the average total cost is greater than the price. It means they are producing at a loss at the output level where marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue. What would the firm be doing? Would they shut down?
Yes, I will
I
agree.
want to give
It
you,
will shut
I want to
down.
give you a second to think about it. Somebody was talking to.
I agree that it will shut down.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Judlin. The firm was shut down. You don't think at that time the firm is making losses, but they are minimizing their losses? Should we go back to the slides? In the short run, if the ATC, the average total cost, is greater than price, we all know that they are producing at a loss, right? But at the output level where the marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue, they are minimizing losses. Does that make sense? They will not shut down.
Yes, you're correct, Professor. It makes sense.
They will, yes, thank you, Rodas. I knew. That's why I wanted to give you some time to think about. You know, these type of questions, it's a little bit confusing and it drains you. So I wanted to give you some time to look at it, you know. So at that level, they are making losses. We know that they are businessmen, but marginal revenue, marginal cost is equivalent to marginal revenue. They will produce, but they are minimizing their loss or their losses. Good, thank you. So let's see what we have next. That's the short run supply. Short run supply. So short run supply curve is a supply curve that represents the short run relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. Okay, the price and the quantity supplied. You know, in the as we've been describing all along, in a perfectly competitive market, it's easy to enter and exit. Okay, profit in a short run encourage new what firms to enter. Okay, when more firms enter the market curve shifts to the right to illustrate the increase in what? In the supply. Okay, this is what happens. And when supply increases, okay, what happens? Price does what? Falls, and quantity shoot up. So at the end of the day, this is the type of curve that is going to represent that for us. Okay, So the short run supply curve. So that is what we do have right here. So that is determine the supply, the shape of a perfectly competitive firm's short run supply curve. Okay, so what you have to do is the first step, even to understand an individual, is to understand the individual, what do we call it? The individual supply curve. Okay, it's actually the last concept that we covered. Okay, that is the shutdown point. Okay, so a firm will not produce at a price lower than the P5. They will not. The short run supply curve that starts at the minimum average variable cost, they will not produce. I hope we are not going to see this somewhere and then get confused. Who wants this question in the final exam? Anybody? Oh, wow. Nobody wants it. Wow. I thought Awad said he wants more of that. Anyway,
What
so
is the question again, Professor?
I said, who wants this type of questions in the final exams? You know, if you want more, let me know. I can put more there. You know,
Honestly,
it is.
no.
Professor, I'm still confused at some point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. In the slides, when the price was lower than the average average variable cost, okay, there is a slide and you said they will continue, okay, and next there is another slide saying that they will shut down. Okay, I know in actual life it's changeable. There is many variables, very too much situations, but I'm talking about theoretically. Okay, if the price is below the lowest point of average variable cost, will they continue? Or
Are you
they will
talking
stop?
about? Are you talking about this very one?
No, I'm not talking about this. Okay.
Okay, because
Here,
this
they will
one,
continue.
this one, the price is slightly above the shutdown point.
They will continue. They are having a loss, but they will continue.
That's right. For this one, yes.
The
So
price is below.
Go ahead.
You can, okay, what if the price is below the average variable cost?
If the price is below the average variable cost and they are producing enough to cover their variable cost, they will stay in business.
So their variable cost is a marginal cost. Is it the same?
Variable cost is equivalent to, if it's equivalent, which is equal to marginal revenue. Yes.
No. The variable cost, is it equals to, what is it equal to?
What is variable cost equal to? Well, in this situation, I might be tempted to say that the variable cost is equivalent to what they are in that particular point in time, their production costs. Okay? If they are able to make enough to cover their variable cost, they will be fine. So at this point, that's what I would say. their production costs. Are you there?
I am there, but I will read more about it. I didn't
Sure.
get
And
there
feel
yet.
free to send me an email if you have any challenges. Okay.
I will.
To send me any email if you have any challenges. I'll be able to send you more information as to how to go about it. Okay. So good. But I like it though. I want you to at least freely express yourself so that at the end of the day, I know that I'm giving you something and you are getting it. You know, if at the end of the day, I don't see any improvement in what we are doing, then it doesn't worth it for us to be here. Okay, so over here too, there we go. If the price is slightly higher, still above what it is it P2? Quantity, what quantity would a firm produce? Okay, the firm maximizes its production at what? At Q2. Okay, the firm will maximize its production at Q2. So at the end of the day, if the price is slightly higher than what we see at P2, yes, okay, they will still try to do what? Give you some sort of production. Okay. Now, if the price is also, where is it? Slightly higher than P1, what quantity will the firm produce? The firm maximizes its production also, again, at Q1 quantity. Okay. So at the end of the day, you should be able to interpret it and understand it. And that's what we are looking for. Let's see the next slide. Maybe somebody's gonna tell me that he's going to be able to read more of this when it comes to the exams. So short run supply curve, again, that's what we see over there. You take away all the points where you will not produce, okay? It's below the shutdown point. And then plot the price and quantity combination for the firm at different prices, and you can start to see the individual supply curve moving just like that. Okay, moving just like that. This is just telling you how those curves came about. Okay, that how those curves came about. Good. So just like what I just explained, you take away the other cost curve and you can see that the individual firm's short curve is simply a portion of the marginal cost, as you can see with the red line crossing through the points to give us the supply curve. That is the marginal cost curve right there. Marginal cost curve. Anyway, so what do we have for a perfectly competitive market? The portion of the marginal cost curve, okay, the portion of the marginal cost curve that is at or above the minimum point of the average variable cost is the short run supply curve. Is the short run supply curve. Okay, that is what we have at the end of the day. That is the short run supply curve. A perfectly competitive firm's short run supply curve is at its lowest point when the marginal cost equals the minimum point of average variable cost curve. the perfectly competitive firm's short-run supply curve is at its lowest point when the marginal cost is equal to what? The average variable cost curve. Okay, it's at its minimum. Okay, its minimum or lowest point. All right, I hope somebody is getting this. If you go back to the slides, yes, you will find out that what we are saying is the truth. Anyway, so now market dynamics and then changing cost. See, this is the reason why it's a little bit good to be in economics. You say dynamics. Why is it dynamics? It keeps changing every day in and out. So market dynamics, and then the changing costs. When firms enter and exist a market, when firms enter and exit a market, which is a perfectly competitive, this impacts the overall market. Okay, it impacts it in what way? It affects the supply. Okay, in the short run and in the long run, it's going to affect the market. As people are coming in, it's going to be, it might be what? Positive. As people are leaving, it might be negative. And vice versa. People might leave and it might be negative, and people might come in, it might be positive, or people might leave, it might be positive, and people might come in, it might be negative. It is something that it can happen. Is the dynamics of the market. See, a giant or a good producer might be in business, but sorry, their finances might not be good. They might leave the market. Okay, and what would it be to the market? It might affect the market. A giant might be in the business, and if finances is not good, it might decide to leave, or a different competitor enters the market. It might change the whole dynamics of the market. So that is what we have. So the constant cost industry, what does that mean? An industry in which the firm's cost structures do not vary with changes in production. Okay, it does not vary with the changes in production. All right, that is the constant cost industry. It does not change with the vary in production. Okay, now what do we have? The long run supply curve, by definition, is a curve that represents the long run relationship between price and quantity supplied. We will try to derive the long run supply curve, okay, using what we know about curves, and then looking at how it changes in the market. Okay, for the long run curve, it's a supply curve that represents the long run relationship between price and quantity supplied, and that's what we are trying to put across. Good. So now we have these two curves here. If the market demand increases, what happens? Okay, what happens? Are firms able to supply in the long run? In the short run, economic profits is generated, or the price. What happens? Does price increases, or what? What happens if the market demand increases? Okay, so this is what we have over here. You can see that with a perfectly competitive firm, this is what we're gonna have. If the market demand increases, okay, if the market demand increases, what happens? It causes what? It causes the price to do what? Shoot up. Okay, it causes the price because a lot of people are following that product. A lot of people are looking for the product. By the forces of demand and supply, it's gonna shoot up. Okay, so now let's look at where this used to be. If you look at the where is it? With the market, the one the graph with the market, you see that the market changed the demand from what is it? I cannot even see this. From D to D1, right? From D to D1. Okay. So at the end of the day, you should see where the D price was. Is it 2 or 1? It's not there. Okay. But you could see where it met the quantity. Okay. Where it met the quantity line, you see the price, tracing it to the quantity, to the price side. You will be able to see what price it will have come up with. So that is the impact. That is the impact we're going to have. Okay. I hope somebody is following this particular slide as well. Good. We do have another one. So as price increases, okay, new firms enter the market. What is it happening? They are driving price back to the original amount. Okay, we have to notice that quantity has increased. Okay, as more firms are producing what? New products. Some of us produce at $2 and the original price for the original product should be $10. We'll go for the $2. Why? Because that's what we can afford. Because it's not that we only want cheap stuff, but naturally, psychologically, unless people are they are stuck to their taste and preference, they will change. That's why whenever there is a strategy in a market that people put at customers, they are able to get people to do what? To fall for it. It is natural. It is natural. So price incentivize entry, price returns. This is what happens. And this is why I gave you that kind of discussion. And because people have not done this discussion, we just don't want to give them clue to go and then keep typing. But it's okay. You know, at the end of the day, you are in business. What do you do to entice your customers? Okay. Who was that? Larry. Is Larry on the line? Larry, are you here? He's not here. He did a very good post. He did a very a thorough discussion, being the first person posting. Normally, if you are not the first person posting, I tend not to see what comes out from you. Very powerful, because people will just be repeating others, because I'm expecting you to think out of the box. Come up with something. Somebody came with pricing. Come with something. There are a whole lot of stuff that you will use to do what? To promote your product. Okay. Who was that? Winnie. Winnie came up with the discount. I want you to discuss discount by itself, because discounting itself is a strategy to penetrate a market. Discounting, yes, you use discount to do what? To penetrate the market, because you want to get more customers. You brought out a discounting strategy that a customer buys one or buys more than one. You give that customer this kind of discount. You know, iPhone will say, if you buy if you have iPhone 3, 4, or 5, and you bring it in to come and trade it for a new one, we'll give you this type of discount. Why are they doing that? They are trying to tell the customers, come and then take advantage of the new stuff. Come and take advantage of the new product. Come and patronize the new product. So discounting itself is a strategy. And this is what I want you to discuss. I want you to bring out, just try to, as a marketing officer, you could be in any position after this point, after this program. And this is what you have to do. You use economics. The little you learn in economics, the little you learn in marketing, the little you learn in organizational behavior, any other course, and then you build your knowledge to be able to at least stand the test as a business acumen. Okay. So at the end of the day, discounting is also another thing. Pricing. Somebody will use a strategic pricing to be able to penetrate the market. Again, somebody will be able to use what? Discount, okay, to get into the what do we call it? Into the market. So we have other stuff. We're not going to mention it. I want you to think out of the box. Think out of the box. If you are a marketing officer, what would you do? Okay. Okay. If you are having your own business, you want to set up your own business, what would you do? What would you do? Okay. Would you just set up your business and then you think people will come and take patronize it? Or what would you do? What are the stuff you would do? It's not always reducing price or giving discount. You would do something to entice customers. I don't want to mention it to let others be at a disadvantage because they cannot get something to write about. Okay, but what would you do? Okay, so many things go into play when we want to talk about that. Good. So let's see what we have. Now, demand decreases. Okay, in the market, when the market demand decreases, what happens to the firm's ability to even supply in the long run? What happens? Okay, if the demand decreases, okay, possibly what would they do? They will possibly reduce their what do we call it? Their demand. But in the short run, if they are already in that kind of situation, probably if they don't produce, what they have in stock might got destroyed if it's a perishable supplies or whatever. They will keep producing. But in the long run, they put strategy, they put some sort of decision into play to be able to reduce the production if demand goes down. Okay, and that is how business is also run. That's how business is run, and you will do the same. You will do the same. So in the short run, as I said, forget it. Economic losses, that's what we all gonna go through. You are not magic. You no matter what it is, maybe you have supplies in there. No matter what it is, if you don't use the supply, those supplies going to do what? They're gonna perish. Okay, if they're gonna perish, and you need to at least produce and then produce at a loss, it's far better for you to just have your wares being destroyed at the warehouse. So that is what it is. So in the short run, if demand decreases, what would you do? You continue producing until you have a good strategy in the long run to reduce your production. I hope somebody is following me. So losses incentivize exit price returns. What does that also mean? Okay, as price decreases, some firms also does what? They exit the market. Okay, as price decreases, some firms exit the market, making way for those who want to be what? Very bold in business to stand. So when they leave and it becomes a limited suppliers, what happens? Price shoot up for them. So at the end of the day, they stay in business to drive back the price to the original amount. And that is what we are talking about. I hope somebody is following. If I'm confusing you, please let me know. It's so simple. This one should be able to click just like that. Price went down. People are getting out of the business. You are 10 in the business or in the industry, and about 4 have left. What has happened to the market share? If the market share is 100% and it's being shared equally among the 10 people, now those 4 people who have left, their 40% share is going to go to what? The 6 which is left. This is going to cause them to go get what? More people patronizing their product, helping them to draw to get back with the amount or to to bring back the original amount to play. All right, that's what it is. So that's what we do have here. And what is it? I don't know why this machine is running slow today. Good. So long run supply curve. In the long run, what happens? The market has the ability to supply any quantity at the current price in the long run. Okay, because they can put strategy into place. They can think about what they want to do to be able to do what? Do it. Okay, that is in the long run. It will just take entry or exit to decrease the quantity. Okay, so in the long run, that's what it is going to happen. What about the short run? In the short run, some economic profits or losses are created. You know, no matter what it is, there is going to be some sort of economic profit or losses that you're going to make because you are within a tight corner in a predicament that you cannot avoid. But in the short run, there are no economic profits or losses. The long run supply curve is perfectly what? The previous, I think about 4 weeks ago, we said what? Elastic. It is perfectly elastic. Okay, it's perfectly elastic, and that's what we're talking about. Okay, so now what we have? All right, two other industry types. Okay, increasing cost industry. Increasing cost industry. That is the long run supply curve slopes upward for that industry. The long run supply curve will slope upwards. And then the cost of production rises with expanded output. The cost of production rises with expanded output. And then decreasing cost industry. What happened? The long run supply curve slopes upward. Okay? Long run supply curve slopes upward as well. The cost of production falls with expanded output. I hope somebody is following, you know, because after all, adjustments have been made. Okay, the equilibrium price will be equal to the minimum point at what? Average total cost and what? The marginal cost. All right. Now, let's see, so that we'll be able to call it a day. We have a question here, and somebody should make me happy before I leave here, so that he can tell me what this is. Which of the following statements describes a perfectly competitive market under condition of constant cost? Which of them? Constant cost. And don't forget, we have discussed what constant cost is all about in a few. So, which of the following statement describes a perfectly competitive market under conditions of constant cost? Anybody? Anybody? The market supply curve becomes what? Somebody was talking. A word. You said C?
Yes.
Somebody said yes to that too. You don't think that the market supply curve becomes perfectly elastic in the long run? They can produce whatever they want. You understand what I'm saying? They can produce whatever they want. Okay, the market supply curve becomes perfectly elastic in the long run. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. All right, because the price is what? The cost is constant. They know the cost. So if you know the cost,
yes,
you cannot make
steady
projections.
cost.
Very good, steady cost. So you'll be able to make projections and say, hey, if I'm able to produce 100 of these pieces and I sell at this price, I'll be able to make this revenue. And it's if I deduct this, I deduct that, I'll be able to make this profit. Is that not it? So they can produce as much as they want. It's elastic. I hope you get it now. Good. So now we are back to our question. I think some few people were here at the beginning of the lesson, and we were discussing what to do to be able to schedule for our final exam. And a date was proposed for 29th of August, which is a Monday. I'm not sure if those here, somebody have a different date, somebody will be affected. But at least what I'm going to do is whatever day we will have, I will make sure it is going to cover maybe from morning to 12 p.m., half a day, so that people will be able to at least have time to do it. Because it's an online program, you cannot just stick to, I'm tempted not to do that as people do, because somebody might be at work. So we want to be as flexible as we can so that everybody will be okay. So let's all think through and let me know, what do we think? 29th is okay, or we should move it to the weekend? That is it's gonna be our last but one weekend. What do we think?
Some
Yes, Judling,
okay,
go ahead.
If it's weekend.
It's gonna be good if it's weekend, which is gonna be on 27th of August.
Yeah, because on Monday it's working time here in my time here, like this today is 8 o'clock.
As a matter of fact, if it's gonna be 27th, we'll make it 28, which is a Sunday.
Sunday will be
have a class. 27th we have a class. On the weekend could be 28. We have 2 dates right now, 28 and 29th. Let's talk about it quickly and then see how we can get out.
I guess
don't know
we
for
will
the
have
others.
a session at Saturday, so we'll need time to study what we shall take at Saturday for the final exam.
Say that again.
If we are going to take a session at Saturday, so we will need to study the new session for the exam. So I guess 28 will be very fast after a session.
Okay. Lauren is saying she will not have enough time to review. I'm very open all the way to on you. So 28 is too early, according to Noran. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. We have 28 and we have 29. For those who want 29, please let me know. If you can talk, just say yes to 29. If you can type and you want to be for 29, type yes for 29. Let's do this quickly so that those who wins, the majority will take the day.
For me, 29.
Okay, Noran, 1 for 29. And Judlin proposed 28. So I hope she's going to support her proposal.
29, Professor, for me.
29. Okay, Mansoon, thank you. I see.
I don't
Me
mind,
too, sir. 29, sir.
29 for who?
10,
Chan.
sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you, Chan.
I don't mind whether it's 28 or 29, sir. So
Oh, Rodas,
yes.
you got to make a choice.
It really doesn't. Okay, I
It
guess
doesn't matter
29,
for you.
okay. Because everybody's
Okay.
saying 29,
Plus,
so
I'm free for on Sunday. I can, review everything. So that's why 29 is better for me.
29th. Okay, good. So Rodas is neutral. Let me put it somewhere.
And keep me also with Rodas. I have no problem.
Oh, okay. Thank you. We have how many people on the line? Let me see this. I'm still waiting.
Let me know again, question time.
Say that again.
Let me know question time, sir.
No, I don't get it.
Question time, sir.
He's
Question time.
asking
What kind of
question
question
type.
we need to answer?
Well, for the final exams, we have 2 types. Okay. There
Yes,
is
sir.
going to be a short paper. Okay, a short paper that you're going to write, and then there will be a multiple choice question as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's going to be a short paper and then a multiple choice that you have to deal with.
Yes, sir.
And as
how many hours we need to take?
well, I'm tempted not to send this to more than 2 hours.
More than 2 hours.
It's not going to be more than 2 hours.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I just want to know how many people on the line. Give me a second. So Winnie says 28. Okay. Let's see this quickly. Let me check this. So we have Larry. I've not heard from you. You okay? Sarah, I've not heard from you. Oh, okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 9 people.
Professor, I have a comment.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
Does it have to be on August? Because if we take the exam on September the 3rd, then we will have weekends as well for those who have to take the exam on weekend.
No, I did not catch that.
I said that the exam, should it be on August?
Yes, it's in August.
Okay. No, I said that if we take the exam on September 3rd, another month, which is going to be another week.
The course supposed to close by 30th.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Now I see who was missing. Olia has voted. Let's see what she voted for. Maybe she needs to be the president of United States.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello, sir?
Yeah, Olia.
I was just trying to check because if the other ladies and gentlemen saying on Sunday and Monday we do have lectures, so I don't know how are we gonna be able to take the exam
on Sunday, right?
Is it not possible to use the time of the lecture? is it not possible to use the time of the lecture on Saturday to take the exam
Actually,
on the 27th?
by Monday 29, we would have finished the organizational behavior already, because its final exam is at 22nd of August. So this day we're free already.
Let's do it this way.
Okay.
Let's do it this way. We're gonna do this. We're gonna use the time for the lecture for the exams, but on that 27th, okay, you're gonna have a reading assignment for that topic. When we converge here, I will do about 30 minutes in a brief, okay? Then you will be able to take your exams. How about that?
Okay, I would go with that. I don't know the other guy, but I would go with that.
Can you repeat, Professor? Sorry.
If we are suggesting that we take the exam on 27th, which is our class meeting day, because I want to cover as possible. So if we want to take our exams on 27th, which is one of the weeks or the weekends that we have to treat the last topic, if we want to, I'll give you a reading assignment about topic. You have to read about that topic. Then we will converge here on that Saturday. I'll do a brief explanation in about 30 minutes. Then I'll leave you to take care of your exams. If that is not going to be of too much of a pressure.
Okay.
I agree.
That's Olia?
No, it's
yes,
Judlin.
I
Judlin. Okay.
Yeah.
Olia brought that. All right.
I
Anybody?
go with 27, say. I do go with that.
Yeah, 27th is Olia, and I've seen Judlin supporting that. Please feel free to talk, because soon as we make the date fix, it's gonna impact you in one way or the other.
For me personally, sorry for that. I'd rather have it on 28th or 29th.
28th or 29th. Judlin,
Yes,
brothers, just firm yourself. Firm where you want to be.
Did you ask me a question, Professor?
Yes, I want you to firm yourself. Just confirm, at least firm yourself where you want to be. 29th or 28th.
Okay, 29th.
29th. Okay.
Yes.
So some of the questions that you're answering is easy to pass.
All right. So what should we do now? 29th, 27th, 28th. We have 29 in the day. We have 4 people going for 29. Are we clear? For those who want to go for 29th, can you call out again? I have Rodas.
Yes, Mansoor.
Mansoon. Noran, right?
Yes, 29.
And then Mr. Awad. Okay, 27th, Olia.
I'm 29, sir.
That's Chan. Okay, which means 5 people for 29th. So 29th has won the day. So we're going to have our exams on 29th of August. All right, 29th of August. And again, I will make it as flexible as possible. That's what I said. It's going to be open from morning till 12 p.m. Okay, US time. Okay, so you have enough time to go in and then just do justice to it. Any challenge? Any challenge? We don't want to disenfranchise anybody, but if it's the majority of the class wants it on 29th, I believe we'll go with that.
It's okay for the 29, but can you adjust the time for like 7 a.m. in your time? Is that okay?
7 a.m. in my time, right?
Yeah.
My time, right?
Yes, please.
Definitely, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be 6 a.m. from my time all the way to 12 p.m. my time. Are we there?
Oh, so it's August 29, 6 a.m. What's that?
You know what we're
6
gonna do?
a.m. in your time.
Yes.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it open for the whole day, 29. So now there shouldn't be any issue, right? Are we good? Are we good?
For me, yes. For me, yes.
Good. So
Yes,
29 is going to be all the way from US time, from 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. So you have more than enough time to do this. All right. So, and again, these are some of the questions you might have met it before. So those who keep refreshing their mind and are able to at least read their materials, there shouldn't be any issue. And so far, those who are making it right there, it's only some 70 points out of 300 that we are going to be looking for. So it's not any crazy thing. All right. So I think if there is no question, I will leave you to continue your weekend. Those who have to do something else can go back and do it. So unless somebody have question. Clement,
the
any
question
issue?
time is
Yes, sir.
exam time. You will let us from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Am I right?
It's gonna be 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. time.
So on Monday, later I'm afraid for 6 p.m. And
Oh, that is.
please,
that
6
is
12 p.m. is better for me because Myanmar and America is totally different. Maybe for example, if
No,
in
you still don't
America
get it.
10 p.m.
You
we
still
are
don't
in
get it.
Sir,
12
what is
p.m.
because
is gonna be
24
shorter than 6 p.m. Okay. If we are to go for 12 p.m., your time is going to be shorter than going for 12 p.m. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So if we are going for, yes.
I'm sorry for interrupting. So I wanted to suggest on the before this semester, on the first semester that we had, we usually had a 24 hours. They let it open. They let it be open for 24 hours so that everybody can do it in their time zone. So I was just wondering
Yes, sir.
if that would be okay.
So you want
okay.
24 hours?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I heard only two people saying that
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, when you join the class, 5 minutes to the closing, your contribution doesn't matter.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, sir.
No, that's fine. We will do that. So 24 hours. All right. You see,
Yes,
all
sir.
that is,
Thank you, sir.
the most important thing is just review the materials. Okay. This is something, and I know Olia is just pushing for some people. I know, but she will go in there and do justice in just 30 minutes and then run away. I thank you all for your contributions.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Sir, no, yes.
No,
I don't know
sir.
if I should. Sir, should I try to personally? Last week's discussion, I actually was expecting to hear from you. Quite unfortunate that today I've seated since before the lecture, but my system could not connect, and I didn't really understand what
No,
happened to my
it's okay. I understand you. I said I'm going to open that discussion for you. The discussion you missed earlier on in the semester. I'll open that for you to make that mark. All right. And Chan, don't forget, you have an appointment.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, no problem. What is the name? I've still not heard from you though. For you. All right. So Clement, I'll do that for you and I'll test you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Just focus on the bigger thing ahead of you. This is just 5 points or 10 points, but I know. So I'll get that for you. All right. I'll make sure I'll open it for you to do that. All right. So I'm not sure if somebody have any other question. Somebody's having issues here and there. Please let me know. If not, just dispatch and then go and then rest of our day.
Thank you for your kindness, sir.
No, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all of you, your contributions and your support. Just keep up with the materials and I wish you all the best. I'll see you next weekend.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Have a nice day,
Thank you,
sir.
Professor.
You too.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
week.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, and thank you, Sam.
Bye.
Bye-bye, sir.
My system is telling me the reporting time is telling me 4 hours. While on the platform, on the module is supposed to be 12 o'clock. It's supposed to be Sunday. I can't really understand. What is this? What will I do now? This thing is actually being my concern. I've been sitting